YouTube? It's Baker. Welcome back to Blue Line Morphs, guys. I hope everybody's doing absolutely fantastic. We are not over here at Blue Line Morphs. This title, this thumbnail, everything, nothing of that, anything of that is clickbait. We're going to get into that. We had two things happen to us this week here at Blue Line Morphs. Kind of part of the process, kind of the reality of breeding ball pythons. You know, not a lot of people talk about this. Some people do, some people don't. Some people getting into the hobby don't realize some of these things are things that happen. So, keeping with my theme of being completely and totally transparent, we're going to talk about the loss of a snake and pretty much the loss of an entire clutch. We're going to show you that clutch. Before we get into that, guys, I did rearrange the Patreon a little bit. Had a couple different tiers. I reduced it just to one tier, just a special ops tier with the group text and everything included in there. Then you still have the upper echelon tier of all like my 5-star chief people. But if you're interested in that, take a look at that. We lowered the price a little bit. We have about 30 members in there that are always cranking, always talking, always doing the things. And a bunch of experienced breeders in there too, just to get their take on things. It's a really solid community so far. I just think this will enable me to keep things more consistent instead of worrying about what tier people in, who gives a shit. So one flat tier. But we're pretty excited about that change, so definitely check it out if you haven't done so already. The sale over here on these hatchlings are still going on, guys. We'll take a look at that on Morph Market. Obviously, the ones with the X's on them are sold, doing pretty good over here. Love this hobby. We're going to keep growing. A few setbacks. Let's talk about this. I did intend on filming an egg cutting video. The egg cutting video was going to be this clutch. It was our Cinny Pied girl, beautiful girl right here, to this boy right here, which I forgot to put his hide back, is our pastel ODYB Fire Leopard Pied breeder male from Aussie. And obviously the Cinny Pied girl right here. I've been talking about this clutch for quite some time. Then if you remember, I actually moved the clutch from the other house over here on day 57. So that is not the cause of what happened. If you wonder what happened to my nose, that. An 83-pound puppy that thinks he can jump on top of dad when he's sleeping at 2 o'clock in the morning and gouge out his face. Right, D? Yeah, you don't give a shit. Anyway, guys. So before we get into showing you exactly what happened with that clutch, I'm going to tell you something else that happened to us. So this is about right after Mike from Mike, Redline Pythons. Shout out to Michael. Right after he left and went back to that shitty state, California. Well, I'm not giving shit for that, but come on, guys. I had picked up a pastel entry pied female. They gave me my first pied clutch last season. I picked her up literally during a blizzard on December of 2019. Met a guy I drove back from South Carolina. I made the deal on Morph Market in South Carolina at my mom's house. Drove back to New York with Shelby. Met up with this guy during an actual blizzard to pick up this pastel entry pied girl. She's a beast of an eater. If you guys remember, I thought maybe she was super pastel. She actually gave me my 2 holdbacks right here. We got this guy, the strange little pastel banana entry pied that has that crazy pattern to him. And then also this, where's the other girl? I don't know who she is. I already arranged everything, guys. I get confused. Then his sister right here is our pastel entry pied female we also kept back. It kind of has that paradox thing and that little emoji sunglass face or frowning face on this side, okay? You guys have seen them a million times. So that female was bred to my banana pied boy, which I still have, and I produced these 2 holdbacks. Now, this year, live action. This year, we bred her to the pastel ODYB Fire Leopard Pied, the same male that we're talking about the clutch later on. And she looked like she was going to go for me, okay? She was a great eater. She came off food, was sitting on the cool spot. She was bowl wrapping, and then she shot back to the hot spot, and I thought for sure she was going to go. About a week after the move, I came in here to check on a few girls, including that head puzzle girl that I was anticipating having clutches, and I checked on her. She was laying upside down in the tub, 2,200 grams. Her cloaca was slightly spread open, so when I first opened, I saw that. I was like, shit, what the fuck is she doing? I was like, is she laying eggs? She's taking a shit? And I realized she's belly up completely. Picked her up. She's dead. Completely dead. Dead as a doornail, which is crazy because the day before that I looked at her and she was doing fine. It's about 5 days post-move, by the way. Took a look at it, started cleaning the tub, put her in a garbage bag, obviously. Started cleaning the tub, started looking at the other snakes around her, went through my entire collection, made sure nothing else was going on. Noticed there was some blood coming out of her and a little bit of blood in the cocoa. Decent amount of blood. Not crazy like someone got cut, but some blood came out. So I don't know if she bled out internally, if it was a genetic issue or something. No RI, nothing like that. So long story short, she passed away. And now thought she was gravid. So Mike brought up a good point. I was like, Bake, I mean, I hate to say this, but why don't you see if maybe an egg got stuck or ruptured something? So I, like a degenerate, I cut her open. And honestly, I thought about maybe I should have recorded it, but I'm not going to lie. I get real strangely sentimental about some of these snakes, especially the ones I raised up, especially with a story like that. I like shit like that. I like the fact that I picked her up during a blizzard coming back from South Carolina, no sleep, and I've raised her up, and I've seen her. I have some holdbacks over here. You know, I wanted to see her on eggs and her daughter on eggs. But so I did. I cut her open. Her cloaca was stuck open slightly. I cut her all the way up to her neck, thinking she would have some sort of eggs. A lot of fatty tissue. Someone said maybe it could be tumors. I don't think the tumor is just fatty tissue. No eggs whatsoever. Kind of a black mass at the bottom, a spongy, mucousy looking black mass at the bottom. I don't know, maybe she couldn't try to take a dump, but she couldn't pass it. I don't know. It sucked, guys. Again, this is a business, right? It's a business hobby. We all like making money, and people that claim like I'm not in it for the money, ain't full of fucking shit. All right, then give away your snakes. That's simple. That being said, like we still love our animals, right? We still love our snakes, and there's a difference between a breeder that does it strictly for money and someone that does it because they love the animals, but they like making a side hustle, right? It sucked. I was really upset about it. Pissed me the fuck off. There's no explanation for it. I spoke to a lot of different people about it, and I guess the reality is Mother Nature is Mother Nature sometimes. You have 190 snakes in here. 1 or 2 are bound to have some sort of issue. She was about 4 years old, 3 or 4 years old, had one clutch last June, cut it last October, August. These animals are actually a year old, you just saw. And it sucks. I mean, not only does it kind of screw up the breeding plans for next season, but more importantly, one of my animals died. I was really upset about that. Call me a bitch, call me whatever you want. With that being said, the issue continues. I actually thought, too, it was maybe because we moved or she got crushed in the move, but I don't think anything like that happened. I just think it was one of those things, Mother Nature is Mother Nature. So then today, I walked in here hoping to cut, that was about a week ago. I walked in here to cut a clutch. That Cine Pied to that Pastel OD YB Fire Leopard Pied. Banger of a clutch. It's actually a clutch that my buddy Al, the same one that went in on with a stranger boy, picked up this female for a straight return, straight up. He paid $3 grand, and we're gonna return $5 grand to him once she has her first clutch. Not happening. I'm gonna come out of pocket because he's one of my best friends, and I mean, the fuck, a really expensive Cine Pied girl. Now, let me check out what happened. I came in here today to take a look at the clutch, maybe prepare to cut it. Now, I did cut it. I filmed the video to cut it. I did all this shit to cut it, but I decided to make this video instead to show you the reality of breeding ball python. Soon as I opened up the tub in the incubator over here, one of the snakes was out. I saw the white. I was like, oh, cool. It's definitely a pied. It was a Cine Pied animal. I since then threw it out, so you won't see that one. It was dead. I was like, all right, it happens. Had a bad shark mouth. Bad. With that being said, I started to cut. And it just progressively got worse and worse. So I'm going to get this clutch out. We'll take a look at it. We'll talk about it. But this is the reality of breeding ball pythons. This entire clutch is deformed. Some of them look like they could have been bangers, man. ODYB Fire, Leopard Pied, shit like that. Really nice looking animals. But we're going to talk about my plans for it, what I think happened, what might have happened, so forth and so on. Let me get this clutch out. Let me get set up over there. And we'll talk about it. And I'll show you pretty much an entire shark mouth clutch. All right, guys, I got the clutch out. I actually want to take the brakes. I don't know if they'll actually make it. One's out, but still connected to the egg. I'm not going to mess with it too much, but let's take a look at this, guys. So the first one I cut was this guy right here. As you can see, he's still having some issues. Crazy shark mouth. Look at that, guys. All right, I mean, I don't know what happened here. We'll talk about incubation, all that. This one right here, I haven't been able to see its head, but I can only assume. Let me move underneath the light a little more. I can only assume it's shark mouth also, because the entire clutch is shark mouth. Look how beautiful that animal right there is, guys. I don't want to mess with it too much. It's still hanging out right there, but again, that is, I don't know why it's all the way out like that. Kind of want to put it back in. I'm not going to mess with it too much, but that's got shark mouth. I don't know if you can see it. But yeah, same thing with this animal right here. I haven't seen its face, but I can only assume that it also has, again, everything's deformed in here. This one right here, I don't even know if it's going to make it. It didn't absorb all the sac there. It's got crazy overbite. Same thing with, I haven't even seen this one's head. I don't even know if that one's going to make it. And the same thing with this girl right here, or this animal right here. It's a Cine Pied, but I'm trying to show it to you guys. Push this little head out. Another crazy overbite here. I mean, they all look the same, guys, all right? You take my word for it. I don't want to mess, again, I don't want to mess with them too much, but if you look right here, I'll push it up just a little bit. You can kind of see the underbite there. So I'm going to try to move this, but I don't want it to, I don't want to mess with it too much. But long story short, guys, this entire clutch, although some of them look absolutely beautiful, we have some decisions to make here. I have seen some people talk about how, definitely comment down below, guys, right? I make no qualms about it. This is my 4th year, very new to this. You know, I went all in on it. With that being said, I still, situations like this, I've not experienced yet. So I talk to a lot of my more experienced people. And of course, listen, YouTube, it is what it is. I've seen some animals that are large and they eat, but you have to assist feed them and they're this big and they breed and everything else. I've seen some people say they cull them right away. I've heard people culling animals just because they're normals, just because they're just a het clown or a het pied and they're useless and they don't bring a heavy price tag. I don't believe in that shit. Listen, I don't want an animal to suffer either. I will never do that. You know, if it's in the animal's best interest to put it down, except for those two. Fuck them. They're living forever. Then you do what you have to do. I did have a clutch this year, actually, where one of them was really fucked up. And I did. I snipped its head off. Get it over with. I think it's not going to survive. With these animals here, they have wicked shark mouth, shark head, whatever. And we're going to see if they survive. If they survive, I will hand feed them. I will keep them going. If I seem or I make the decision that they are suffering in any way, then I'm going to cull them. Obviously, we're not selling these animals. I have a couple people on my Patreon that I spoke to them earlier, that if these things eat and we have to assist feed them, I will ship them out if they want them, and then they can breed them, they can get them going, whatever the case may be. But again, if I'm taking the time, energy, and space, and I'm putting an animal under stress, I mean, I'm breeding that animal, okay? I'm cultivating. These animals would not have come together had it not been for what we did in here. It's my responsibility to these hatchlings. I caused this. Just because it's not an ideal situation, just because it's not, you know, a moneymaker. Like, if they were all healthy and they were normal, it's probably a $15,000 clutch, okay? That's not going to happen. That's cool. It is what it is. Does it suck? Yeah, of course it fucking sucks. But, you know, I have a career, I have a job, and I'm making a solid side hustle. It is what it is. More importantly, I'm not just going to cull these animals because I can't sell them. If they survive, and they got that will to survive, I will use my little sausage fingers, and I will assist feed them their entire lives. It's just that simple. Somebody else, again, from my upper, the top tier people that I'm trying to help out, they're a couple years behind me, but I'm not that far removed. So it's kind of easier to correlate in helping somebody when you just did it rather than being 10 years removed. That's my opinion, at least. Obviously, there's people that are much more experienced that you should be listening to, but that's how I feel. With that being said, we're going to see what happens with them. They survive. They survive. I'm going to leave it up to Mother Nature. I'm going to put them back in there. I'm going to make sure they're nice and moist and they have proper humidity in there. They survive. I will be assist feeding them. I will not be culling them unless I feel it's detrimental to their health. Again, if I'm putting this together and I'm the one that's making them breed and I'm the one that's bringing them into existence, then I have that responsibility to keep them alive if I can, unless it's cruel. It's really that simple. I don't like the idea of just culling animals. It's got to be king. Fuck it. Pet, dead. Yeah, but it can survive. It can be a pet, right? So what? Like, well, what if your kid's born and it's missing a fucking hand? You gonna snip its head off and move on? No, you don't do that shit. Listen, we'll see what happens with them. I'm gonna do some research, talk to people, comment down below. What do you guys do? Have you guys ever seen animals like this that survive or make it, that breed, or that become pets? I don't mind. I got plenty of room in here, guys. I know we didn't do the facility tour yet. I got plenty of fucking room in here. Listen, if I gotta dedicate a rack to fucking the freak show in the corner, hey, so be it, right? We'll put my ding dong. Where is she? We'll put my. Where the hell is she? Here's my ding dong. Look at her. Look at Wicked Wobble. Wicked Wobble. I'll put her. She'll be the headliner over there, like the bearded lady. But we'll see what happens, guys. This is the reality of breeding ball pythons. It sucks sometimes. I love the hobby. I love the business. Love the industry. But we are fucking with Mother Nature here. And as we've seen over the last 10 days over here at Blue Line Morphs, sometimes Mother Nature will kick you right in the dick. It's just that simple. Cursing a lot in this video. It sucks. It is what it is, guys. That's just part of the game, though. These things happen. I've heard everything from incubation issues to it's random to genetic, so forth and so on. I don't think there's incubation issue just because I had 17 clutches come out of that Caesar Brand hot box. I had 60-inch. I have spoke to people that say, oh, no circulation in there. People are having issues, the bigger ones. I actually got it from Sal from Gomez Pythons, who's a little MacGyver, and put another fan in there. So circulation is not an issue, and I hatched out beautiful hatchlings all season long. You know, literally over 100 of them. Only had one issue at one clutch, but I think it was a genetic thing. All of them were kind of messed up. And with that being said, there's clutches right along with these 10 to 12 clutches that all hatched out perfectly fine. So I don't think it's an incubation issue. We'll see what happens. Obviously, I got a clutch from the dad, so I don't know entirely what we had here, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to let them sit. I don't anticipate these two coming out, even though they're alive right now. If they make their way out, they make their way out. This one and this one, I anticipate coming out. We'll see what happens, though, guys. Beautiful animals, though, right? I mean, that's a fantastic-looking group. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I can... Oh, Bill's is tied right here. That's why. You see? I'm going to have to tie this off. You see that, guys? I'm going to have to snip that and tie that off. It's just one of those things that happens. We'll see, guys. Just saw that now are coming out, so I'm going to take care of that because she's not going to reabsorb that. We'll see what happens with her. Either way, guys, I appreciate you watching. Sorry you couldn't see a good egg cutting video. The show goes on, though. We got one clutch in there, puzzle clutch. That's the reality of breeding ball pythons, guys. We are playing God in a sense in our little universes, so sometimes God will laugh at us and Mother Nature will tell you to go fuck yourself. It's just that simple. Hopefully they make it. Hopefully they make cool looking pets. We'll see what happens. But I always do the best interest of the animal and not just call the call. That being said, guys, I appreciate it. Be safe, guys. Watch your six.